At 60, I thought I had life figured out. I had raised my children, worked hard, built a home, and given everything I could to my family. I believed they would always be there, my strongest support, my safety net. But life taught me a painful truth. After 60, family is not always enough. Don't misunderstand me. I love my children. I love my grandchildren. But I've learned that life after 60 demands something stronger, something deeper, something that family alone cannot provide. Because families get busy, children move away, grandchildren grow up, and you are left with long nights, quiet mornings, and a body that no longer obeys the way it once did. I remember sitting alone one evening, waiting for a call that never came. My daughter had promised to check in, but she was busy. My son was working late. The silence in my house felt louder than any noise. That night I realized something I should have known long before. If I wanted to live with strength, with dignity, and with peace, I needed pillars stronger than family. Over the years, I discovered 6 essential pillars that have carried me through. 6 supports that hold me up when even love from family isn't enough. 6 truths that I wish someone had told me when I first turned 60. Stay with me until the end, because these pillars may surprise you. And if you've crossed 60 or love someone who has, this might be the most important message you'll hear this year. Pillar 1. Health as your first anchor. When I was young, I thought health was something that would always be there. I ate what I wanted, slept when I felt like it, worked long hours, and pushed my body without thinking twice. If I got sick, I recovered. If I fell, I got up. My body was strong, and I believed it always would be. But after 60, I learned the truth. Health is not guaranteed. It is fragile. And once it begins to slip, no amount of money, no amount of family love can replace it. I remember the first time I realized this. I was 62 when I woke one morning with pain in my chest. At first, I brushed it off as indigestion, but by evening, I was in the hospital. Doctors rushing around me, my daughter crying by my side. They told me my blood pressure had spiked dangerously. You have to take care now, the doctor warned. Your body is not young anymore. That moment shook me. I realized family love could not lower my blood pressure. My children could not breathe for me. My grandchildren could not carry my heart inside their chest. Health was my responsibility, mine alone. Many people think family will be their strongest support after 60. But here's the truth I learned the hard way. If your health collapses, family cannot hold you up. They can only watch, worry, and weep. The only pillar strong enough to carry you is the discipline you build for your own body. I started with small steps. I walked every morning, slowly at first, just around the block. My knees ached, my back protested, but I kept going. I changed my meals, less fried food, less sugar, more vegetables, more water. I started sleeping earlier, giving my body the rest it begged for, and the difference was life-changing. My energy returned, my mornings felt lighter, my nights calmer. I wasn't chasing youth, I was protecting life. I saw the opposite too. My neighbor George ignored his health. He laughed when the doctor told him to cut back on smoking, shrugged when warned about his blood sugar. I'm fine, he always said. But one night, he collapsed. His family rushed him to the hospital, but by morning, he was gone. His children cried. If only he had taken care of himself, but it was too late. That's when I understood. After 60, ignoring your health is not just negligence, it is surrender. I don't mean you must live perfectly. I don't mean you must deny yourself every joy, but you must make your body a priority. Because without it, nothing else matters. Family, money, memories, all of it fades if your body gives way. Health is not just about medicine. It is about daily discipline. It is about walking when you don't feel like it. It is about drinking water when you'd rather have tea or soda. It is about resting when your pride tells you to keep pushing. And perhaps most importantly, it is about listening. Listening to your body when it whispers before it screams. A small ache, a dizzy spell, a night of restless sleep. These are not just aging, they are messages. And ignoring them is like ignoring cracks in the foundation of your home. If you're over 60, I beg you, don't wait for the collapse. Don't wait for the hospital bed, the emergency calls, the tears of your children. Build your pillar of health now. Because when your body stands strong, everything else can stand with it. And when it falls, everything else crumbles. Health is the first anchor, the first pillar, the one support stronger than family love. Because family can hold your hand, but only health can hold your life. Pillar 2. Financial independence, the shield no one talks about. When I was younger, I believed family would always take care of me. I thought, I raised my children, I sacrificed for them. Surely they will stand by me when I'm old. For many years I carried that belief like a blanket, wrapping myself in it whenever worries about money crept in. But when 60 came and went, I discovered a painful truth. Love alone cannot pay for medicine. Affection cannot cover hospital bills. Kindness cannot buy food or fix a leaking roof. I remember sitting in a pharmacy one evening, holding a small bag of pills. The bill was higher than I expected. My hands trembled as I counted the money in my pocket, wondering if I could afford it that month. My daughter had promised to help, but she was struggling too, raising children, paying loans, juggling her own life. I didn't want to add to her burden. That night I realized something I should have known all along. After 60, the strongest support is not family love, but financial independence. It doesn't mean being rich. It doesn't mean luxury. It means being able to meet your basic needs without begging, without feeling ashamed, without waiting for someone else's mercy. I've seen too many elders suffer because they depended entirely on family. Their children loved them, but love has limits when money runs short. Arguments began, resentment grew, parents felt humiliated, children felt petted. The bond that once held them together began to break under the weight of money. I remember my neighbor, Salma. She was 70 and depended on her son for everything. At first he was generous, but as his expenses grew, his patience grew shorter. Small requests, a new pair of shoes, a special meal, turned into arguments. I once heard him whisper angrily, "Do you think money grows on trees?" Salma cried that night. Not because she wanted more, but because she felt like a burden in her own home. I swore I would never put myself in that position. So I started building my independence. Even late in life, I learned to save, no matter how small. I cut back on unnecessary spending. I set aside money for health first, pleasure second, and when possible, I found small ways to earn, renting out a room, selling old items, even teaching part-time. It wasn't easy, it wasn't glamorous, but it gave me dignity. It gave me freedom. Because here's the truth. Money after 60 is not about greed. It's about survival. It's about choice. When you have your own financial pillar, you can choose your medicine, your food, your comfort, without waiting, without asking, without guilt. I've also seen the opposite. Elders who relied completely on family and suffered quietly. They stopped taking medicines because they didn't want to waste money. They ate less so others could eat more. They silenced their needs because they were afraid of being a burden. And in the end, they suffered twice. Once from poverty, and again from dignity lost. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for anyone. If you're over 60, or if you love someone who is, remember this. Financial independence is not selfish. It is strength. It is protection. It is the shield that keeps relationships pure, free from the poison of money arguments. Family love is beautiful, but it is fragile when tested by financial stress. Don't put that test on your children. Don't put that weight on their shoulders. Build your own pillar, even if it's small, because even a small shield is stronger than none at all. And when the day comes when you need help, because we all do, let it come from love, not obligation. Let it come from choice, not pressure. That is the gift financial independence gives you after 60. Pillar 3, friendship and community. The family you choose. After 60, I learned something I never expected. Loneliness can kill faster than illness. I used to believe that family would always fill my days with company. I thought there would always be someone to talk to, someone to share tea with, someone to laugh with, but life proved me wrong. Children grow busy. Grandchildren chase their own dreams. The house that was once full of noise becomes silent, and in that silence, loneliness creeps in like a shadow. I remember one winter evening, sitting alone by the window. The clock ticked loudly. The house was quiet, and I felt a weight in my chest, not from sickness, but from emptiness. My children hadn't visited that week, and the phone hadn't rung all day. I whispered to myself, "Is this it? Is this what old age feels like?" That's when I realized something powerful. After 60, friends and community become a pillar stronger than family. I saw this truth in my friend Hassan. He was 75, a widower, and his children lived abroad. At first he lived in silence, waiting for phone calls that rarely came. But one day he joined a community center near there. He played chess with other men his age, joined group walks in the park, even shared meals on weekends. His life transformed. When I visited him, he looked happier than I had ever seen him. He said, "I used to wait for my children's calls. Now I wait for my friends' laughter." That stuck with me. Because the truth is, family is love by blood. But friends are love by choice. And sometimes, chosen love holds you stronger in your final years. I began to build my own community. I started attending morning walks with neighbors. I joined a reading group at the library. On Fridays I met a few old colleagues for tea. At first it felt small, but slowly, those connections grew into a lifeline. When I was sick one weekend, it wasn't my children who checked on me first. It was my neighbor, Kareem. He brought me soup and sat with me for an hour, making sure I was all right. That day, I realized that community is not a luxury, it's survival. I've also seen elders who refuse to build friendships. They shut themselves inside, waiting only for family. And as the days passed, their health declined, their minds dulled, their hearts broke from isolation. Because loneliness is not just emotional, it eats the body too. Science may call it depression. I call it emptiness. And emptiness is a heavy weight for a fragile heart. If you're over 60, hear me clearly, you need people outside your family. You need friends who make you laugh, neighbors who check in, a community that keeps you alive, not just existing. Because family will always love you, but love that is far away cannot hold your hand in the night. It cannot share a walk, or a joke, or a warm meal. That is what friends and community are for. And if you don't know where to begin, start small. Smile at your neighbor. Join a local group. Say yes when invited. It may feel awkward at first, but remember, connection is not built in one day. It's built in steps, and those steps may one day save you from the silence that so many elders drown in. Friendship is not just company. It is medicine. It is strength. It is the family you choose when your own family is far away. And after 60, that choice may be the strongest pillar you ever build. Pillar 4, faith and inner peace. The anchor of the soul. When I was young, I didn't think much about faith. Life was busy, work, children, responsibilities. I believed strength came from effort, from money, from family. But after 60, when the house grew quiet and the nights grew long, I began to realize something I had ignored all my life. Without peace inside, no pillar outside can hold you. I remember lying awake one night. The house silent, the clock ticking too loud. My heart raced with questions. What if I don't wake tomorrow? What happens when this body stops breathing? Who will remember me when I'm gone? Fear crept into me like a thief. I had family, I had friends, but in that moment, none of them could answer the questions only my soul was asking. That was the night I turned back to prayer. I didn't pray for wealth or even for health. I prayed for peace. I prayed for the strength to accept what I could not control. And slowly, I found something I had been missing for years. Calm. After 60, faith becomes more than religion. It becomes survival. The body weakens. The family changes. Money rises and falls. But faith steadies the soul. It tells you, you are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are held. I saw this in my friend Amina. She was 70, frail and living with illness, but every morning she sat by her window, with her prayer beads, whispering softly. When I asked her once when she was afraid, she smiled and said, "Why should I be? My time will come, and when it does, I will not be alone." That peace shone in her face more than health ever could. Faith doesn't erase fear, but it teaches you how to carry it. It doesn't stop the storms, but it gives you an anchor so the storms don't drown you. I used to think peace would come from my children visiting more often, from having more savings, from being surrounded by people. But I've learned, If you don't have peace inside, none of those things will be enough. And if you do have peace inside, even loneliness feels lighter. Even sickness feels less frightening. This is why I say faith is a pillar stronger than family. Family can hold your hand, but only faith can hold your soul. If you are over 60, don't wait until fear grabs you in the night to discover this truth. Build your pillar of faith now. It doesn't matter how you do it, through prayer, through meditation, through gratitude, through reflection. What matters is that you find something bigger than yourself to rest on. Because in the end, it won't be money or company or even medicine that carries you across. It will be peace, and peace only comes when the soul knows where it stands. So ask yourself tonight, if tomorrow never comes, are you ready? If not, start now. Because the strongest pillar after 60 is not what you hold in your hands, but what you hold in your heart. Pillar 5. Purpose. A reason to wake up each morning. After 60, one of the hardest things isn't sickness. It isn't money. It isn't even loneliness. It's waking up and asking yourself, why am I still here? What's left for me to do? I went through this myself. For years, my life was filled with responsibility. Raising children, working long hours, fixing problems. But when all that faded, I felt useless. My children no longer needed me. My work had ended. I woke up to silence. And in that silence, I wondered if my life still mattered. That's when I discovered the importance of purpose. Purpose doesn't have to be big. It doesn't mean starting a business or changing the world. It can be as simple as watering the plants, writing down your memories, teaching your grandchildren, or even feeding the birds outside your window. Purpose is not about achievement, it's about meaning. I remember my old neighbor George. He was a carpenter all his life. After retirement, he built small wooden toys and gave them to children in the community. His health was fragile, but his spirit was strong. He once told me, "These toys give me a reason to get out of bed. They remind me, I still matter." That was his pillar. Without purpose, the days stretch empty, and emptiness is heavier than illness. With purpose, even pain feels lighter. That's why I say after 60, find something that pulls you forward, no matter how small. Because purpose is the fire that keeps the heart alive when everything else fades. Pillar 6. Self-respect. Protecting your dignity. There's something we elders don't talk about enough. Dignity. After 60, as the body weakens and dependence grows, dignity feels fragile. You need help dressing, eating, even walking. And sometimes, people begin to treat you like a child. They mean no harm, but the tone of their voice, the way they make decisions for you, the way they forget to ask your opinion, it cuts deep. I felt this pain. Once, when I was sick, my son spoke to the doctor on my behalf, as if I wasn't even in the room. I sat there silently, feeling invisible. Later that night, I cried. Not because of my sickness, but because I felt stripped of respect. That's when I realized, after 60, you must guard your dignity like a treasure. Demand to be seen. Insist on being heard. Accept help. Yes, but never accept being treated as less than a person. Self-respect is a pillar stronger than family, because even the most loving family can forget, in their busyness, to treat you with dignity. But when you protect your own respect, you remind them, I am still me. I am still worthy. I am still alive. Hold on to choices that matter. What you wear, what you eat, how you spend your time. Small freedoms add up to dignity. And dignity is what makes old age bearable, even beautiful. Looking back, I know now that family love is precious, but it is not enough. After 60, you need pillars stronger than family to hold you steady. Health, the anchor of your body. Money, the shield of independence. Friendship, the family you choose. Faith, the peace of your soul. Purpose, the reason you rise each morning. Self-respect, the dignity no one can take away. These 6 supports have carried me through the storms of aging. Without them, I would have crumbled long ago. With them, I stand, not as strong as I once was, but strong enough to face each day with courage. If you are over 60, ask yourself, do you have these pillars? And if you love someone who is, ask, how can you help them build theirs? Because one day, family may be far, one day children may be busy, one day, the house may fall silent. And in that silence, only these 6 pillars will keep you standing tall. So don't wait, build them now. Strengthen them. Protect them. Because after 60, these pillars are not just supports, they are life itself.